What is up, everybody? Welcome to RetroWolf88. And you know what? I got to thinking, I have every single black label Nintendo GameCube game for North America, so why have I not done a GameCube Hidden Gems video? Well, I'm going to do that for you today. In today's video, I have 5 games on the Nintendo GameCube that I consider to be awesome games and hidden gems that I highly recommend that you all check out. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so that you can join the Retro Wolf family as we push towards 1,000 subscribers. And let's get into these 5 awesome hidden gems for the Nintendo GameCube. The first game on today's Hidden Gems list is Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters is a third-person squad-based shooter that was released on the GameCube as well as the Xbox, PS2, and PC. The Russian Soviet Union has invaded New York and you take on the role of an ex-plumber that gets pulled into the resistance army fighting against the Russians. The story is pretty intriguing with plenty of characters, subplots, and twists as you and the resistance fights to free New York from the Russians. The graphics unfortunately do not hold up too well today, with them being blurry and grainy at times with bad lighting and contrast, but they work well enough to be able to tell what's going on and play the game. The original composed soundtrack is inspired by Russian orchestra, and it's very epic and brooding and dark, and it really fits the tone and theme of Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters is structured in a very cool way, with you having a handful of locations and missions available to you at any given time, and you can move around between missions and locations from the base. Things that you accomplish in one area will have impacts on other areas and missions, and it makes the game feel very interconnected and that the things you are doing actually matter and have consequences. Besides the submissions in each location, the main goal is to liberate the area of the Russians and raise the US flag. The controls and gameplay is easy and simple to learn while also being a little bit deep and somewhat hard to master, and it just feels really good. There is an auto aim, but that doesn't make the game easy because it's actually quite difficult at times. You really have to play tactically and use cover and command your squad effectively. There are a decent number of weapons, but I tended to stick with a rifle and a shotgun, and of course you also have explosives which you need to utilize very carefully. Another thing that is really nice is that in each location there is usually not one linear path, and instead there are branching paths and shortcuts you can find, which is a really nice touch. Freedom Fighters is a really fun third-person shooter with some really cool ideas, and I'm shocked that I don't hear this game ever talked about because it is a total hidden gem. So I highly recommend Freedom Fighters, whether you get it on the GameCube or another console. It's a fantastic third-person shooter, and it's actually not very rare and expensive right now, so now's the perfect time to snatch up a copy. Next up we have Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg is a unique 3D platformer exclusive to the Nintendo GameCube and was published by Sega and developed by the Sonic team. In Billy Hatcher, you take on the role of Billy Hatcher on a quest to defeat the evil crows and save the chicken elders. The game has some unique and quirky characters, and the story is very light and whimsical. The graphics look great, especially through an HD upscaler with progressive scan turned on. They just... The graphics are colorful, crisp, and vibrant with some really nice animations and effects and some really cool character models. The music is catchy and matches the theme of each of the 7 main areas of the game. There are plenty of tasks to accomplish in each stage with plenty of unique gameplay mechanics, enemies, obstacles, and secrets. Billy Hatcher is packed full of content, especially if you want to 100% the game. The real unique thing about Billy Hatcher is the primary gameplay mechanic of utilizing large eggs to navigate, platform, fight, and solve puzzles while also feeding the egg as you go until it eventually gets larger and larger and hatches into a power-up, an item, or a collectible. Without an egg, Billy is pretty much useless and cannot do much, but with an egg you can move faster, jump higher, and have far more combat options. With 72 different eggs to find and hatch, you will be busy for quite some time with plenty of replayability and things to discover. Billy Hatcher is also a fairly challenging game. Do not let the kiddie look of it fool you. I failed many times throughout the course of the game, some of which was a little bit frustrating. All in all, I consider Billy Hatcher to be a very fun and unique and original game, and it's an absolute shame that more people do not talk about this total hidden gem. I highly recommend you check it out. Now, Billy Hatcher is not exactly easy to find, but it's not super rare either. The price is continuing to go up on it, so if you want to snatch up a copy, I highly recommend you do it now before it gets even more expensive. Next up we have Spartan Total Warrior. Spartan Total Warrior is a third-person action-adventure hack-and-slash game published by Sega, and you take on the role of a Spartan as you battle against the Roman Empire and journey to uncover a mystery involving Greek gods. It was released on the GameCube as well as the Xbox and PlayStation 2. The gameplay in Spartan Total Warrior is epic, as you will be battling entire armies at once and taking part in massive battles while controlling the Spartan hero. You are fighting against and alongside hundreds of independently controlled NPCs at once, and there are many missions and scenarios in the game that just give you that epic and badass feeling needed in a game like this. The combat system is simple to learn with no complex moves, button combinations, or combos, but it's also very deep and hard to master. You have moves that are effective against single tough enemies, as well as moves that are effective against large groups, and most of your weapons have powerful magic attacks that is an important part of your arsenal. You acquire many weapons throughout the game, such as a bow, a sword and shield, a hammer, dual swords, and a spear. I really enjoy the combat style of this game because you do not have to memorize any complex combos. All of your moves are easily memorized and right at your fingertips. There is a nice variety of environments you fight in, as well as missions and objectives to complete, and there is a nice variety of enemies and bosses as well. Spartan Total Warrior is not an easy game. It's fairly challenging. You cannot just run around and button mash. If you do that, you will die very quickly. You have to fight smart and carefully in order to succeed. Now, the graphics have not aged well in Spartan Total Warrior, but that's not a big deal because the game is just such a blast to play and just so freaking epic. Again, Spartan Total Warrior is an epic, fun blast of a game that nobody ever talks about, which is a shame because it could have had some great sequels. Spartan Total Warrior is a total hidden gem, and I cannot recommend it enough, especially if you are a fan of 3D action-adventure hack-and-slash games. Next up is Chibi-Robo Plug Into Adventure. Chibi-Robo Plug Into Adventure is a third-person adventure platform, and it is a Nintendo GameCube exclusive first-party title published and developed by Nintendo. Chibi-Robo takes place in the home of the Sanderson family, and you are Chibi-Robo, and your goal is to spread happiness throughout the home. In Chibi-Robo, your job is to explore the home and keep things clean and tidy while also protecting the family and performing tasks for them, all in an effort to make the family happy so that he can reach the top rank and be upgraded to Super Chibi-Robo. Chibi-Robo actually has some pretty deep and complex themes and subplots which are actually pretty mature, such as divorce, unemployment, and debt. The home itself is huge with multiple rooms such as the kitchen, the living room, as well as a basement, an upstairs, and a backyard. Each room is packed full of secrets and things to find, most of which you cannot access until you gain new abilities and gadgets. Each room has a really nice verticality to it as well, which makes exploring every nook and cranny even more intriguing. There are also many toys in the home that you can interact with and help out, which sort of gives it a Toy Story feel. Both the human and toy characters are all very unique and quirky, with some of the dialogue in this game being both bizarre and hilarious at the same time. All of this make the house feel very much alive and lived in, which pull you into the game even more. While you're exploring, you're actually dragging your power cord behind you, and your battery is constantly draining, and in order to refill your battery, you have to find an outlet to recharge it. Every action you take, whether it is walking, climbing, or using a gadget, drains your battery, but throughout the game your battery will be upgraded more and more. You also have a day and night cycle in Chibi-Robo, and different events and things occur in each room depending on whether it is day or night. There are a lot of neat gadgets to use in the game, such as a helicopter that pops out of your head, a toothbrush for cleaning, and a blaster to fight enemies. But for me, the best part about this game is the exploration, because every room is like its own little puzzle in figuring out how to get to every nook and cranny, and it is incredibly addicting. Chibi-Robo Plug-in 2 Adventure is such a unique, quirky, and fun hidden gem on the GameCube, and it is an absolute shame that it does not get the recognition it deserves or got a true sequel. I highly recommend Chibi-Robo Plug-in 2 Adventure. That is, if you can find a copy, because it's actually pretty rare and expensive. If you can't find a copy, you may want to play it via other means, because this game needs to be played. Last but certainly not least is Metal Arms Glitch in the System. Metal Arms Glitch in the System is a third-person shooter published by Sierra Entertainment, and it was released on the GameCube as well as the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. In Metal Arms, you take on the role of a mysterious robot named Glitch as you join the droid rebel army on a mission to defeat General Corrosive. The story is interesting, and the game is packed full of unique and quirky characters and hilarious dialogue with cursing, sexual innuendos, and many other jokes. So Metal Arms is both serious and silly at the same time, which actually make for a very interesting dynamic. Again, like many games from this era, the graphics did not age well, as the game is somewhat blurry and grainy at times, especially in low light, and the textures are somewhat bland, but the character models and animations are really nice, with plenty of cool touches like damage to a character being visible on their model. The music is great and fits the theme and tone of each level, and sometimes, depending on the situation, there will not even be any music playing, and during these moments it actually makes sense and fits. Metal Arms is a fairly long game with 42 linear levels, 5 of which are huge boss fights, and each level has goals and objectives, many of which are simply to make it to the end of the level. Now, even though each level is linear, there are plenty of nooks and crannies to explore to find secrets such as hidden weapons, upgrades, power-ups, and secret chips. Many levels have large open areas where massive battles take place, and there's plenty to explore. Now, the gameplay in Metal Arms actually reminds me of Halo quite a bit, except in third person. You have plenty of cool guns at your disposal, and you can upgrade them to make them even more powerful. You also have secondary tools and weapons such as a scope and a large variety of explosives. There are also vehicles you can take control of, other robots you can take control of, and some levels even have you playing as other characters. All of these things lead to a nice variety in the gameplay. You have to play smart and try to be as accurate as possible, because enemies in Metal Arms do not go down easy, and if you do not play smart and utilize cover and play tactically, they will take you out very quickly. Now, controlling Glitch is a little bit stiff at first and takes some getting used to, but once you adjust to it, it's really not that bad. But make no mistake, Metal Arms is not a walk in the park. This game is quite difficult, and you will find yourself dying a lot as you learn each stage, especially the more difficult stages. Metal Arms Glitch in the System is such an awesome hidden gem, and whether you get it on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, or the Xbox, I highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the Halo series or third-person shooters. And also, Metal Arms Glitch in the System is not super rare and expensive. It's relatively easy to find and relatively inexpensive, so I highly recommend that you snatch up a copy. So there you have it, folks. 5 hidden gems on Nintendo GameCube that I highly recommend that you check out. Now, I do want to mention, I do have detailed videos on each of these 5 games in my GameCube Gallery series, so if you want to learn a whole lot more and get a lot more detail about any of these games, I'll leave a link to those videos in the description down below. I highly recommend you check it out if you want to learn more. But I want you to let me know in the comments down below if you have played any of these 5 games and what you think about them. Also, let me know any hidden gems on the Nintendo GameCube that you think I should cover in a future video. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. It means a lot to me. And if you're new here, consider subscribing so that you can join the RetroWolf family as we push towards 1,000 subscribers. We're very close now. And folks, stay safe out there. Keep yourself busy and entertained. Keep playing games and having a good time, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.